Y'all, I absolutely hate this scalpy look. I hate reties. I love the fullness of my locks when I have new growth and all that good stuff going. But anywho, I wanted to reply to what Secret Kiki said in one of my comments. She brought up such excellent points about having someone to customize your lock schedule, finding a loctician who's willing to work with you based on how your hair grows. Like locticians who charge you if you don't stick to your retightening schedule, if you go a month or whatever with over your 7 or 8 week schedule. And if you come later than that, they charge you extra. Y'all, that is such game. That is such game. A lot of these locticians schedule your retightenings, or they try to at least, around their pay schedule, like their bills. Like, yeah, I need your money. So you need to come to this retightening because I need that money to pay for this. I need that money to supplement this. No, girl. That is not how this works. You are not going to force reties on me to feed you and your family or pay bills or your vacations. I'm not going to sacrifice the health of my hair, the health of my locks for you. We are not going to force retightenings when there's not enough new growth for that retightening. Stop playing in my face. Because that's all that is. And it's such a good point that this is why I say, if people truly cared about the health of your hair, and if people truly cared about doing things the right way, being ethical, being professional, these practices would not be in place. And Sisterlocks pretty much opened the door for you to make money, scam people, get money by any means necessary, come up with all these rigid rules, which really only feeds their pockets. Now, do locticians have the right to charge what they want to charge, to set up their own rules? Absolutely. You're an independent contractor, especially if you're a Sisterlocks consultant. So yes, you can absolutely set up your own rules, set up your own prices, whatever. That's fine and dandy. But stop trying to cheat people out their money. Stop trying to make people come based on your money needs. If they can't come, if there's no new growth, what are we doing? Why can't you work with that person? And, especially if their hair doesn't grow that fast, okay, stretch it out. Stop trying to force the issue. And it's too many locticians out there that's like this, and that is a problem. Instead of working with you and being honest and saying, okay, you know what? We can stretch this out. Instead of 7 to 8 weeks, why don't we try to go 8 to 10 weeks, see how that goes, see how your hair does. If there's no thinning, we'll do that, because your hair, you really don't have enough new growth to warrant a retightening right now. And I don't want to force anything. I don't want to cause stress on your hair. I don't want to cause thinning, because the thinning will come down the road. And that's what people need to realize. You may not see the thinning now, but it will show up later. Every head of hair is different. For some people, they notice a thinning or they're losing locks in the first year. It really depends on who your loctician is too, and how often they're making you do these reties and how rough they are. Are they doing the pulling and yanking? Are they doing your reties too tight? That the damage will show up. It may not show up right away, but it will show up later. So if we have more honest, ethical people, and there's not enough of them out there, and I wish there were, and if they are out there, they need to be talked about more, because there's so many scammers out here right now, and this is a problem. So yes, to having locticians being open to work with their clients. Stop sticking to these rigid rules that don't apply to everybody, and stop trying to make people accommodate your pockets, your bills. That's bogus. That's not how it should work. And also, oh, it was something else that was brought up. It was some really good comments under my videos about this, and a light does need to be shown on this. People need to speak out more, and I'm glad the conversation is happening. And holding Sisterlocks and those who represent the brand, holding them accountable for these business practices that are really just messed up. It's really messed up. And I'm glad people are being honest. I'm glad that this shroud of secrecy that surrounded Sisterlocks is coming to light, because people need to know. Because if you know, then you'll be able to make better decisions. And I wish I knew then what I know now. Because had I known all this stuff that I know now, I definitely would have gone traditional. I would have gotten traditional locks instead of Sisterlocks. I would have skipped all this mess and just did traditional locks. People need to know. You need to know what you're getting into. You need to know that you can't just see Sisterlocks and be in love with the look. You need to know that, honey, with that look comes XYZ 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a lot. From the loctician to the rules to the products. I mean, honey, there's a lot you need to know and be aware of before you make that final decision that, yes, I'm going to go through with this. I'm going to put down all this money and I'm going to get Sisterlocks. Before you do that, you need to know what you're getting into. And depending on where you live, and if the Sisterlocks consultants are slim to none, there's not a lot to choose from, honey, beware. Beware. Because there's so many scammers. I feel the scammers outweigh the legit people. That's how bad it is. And people need to know this. You need to be careful of who you choose, because not everybody's on the up and up. They're not. And shout out to the ones who are. I know there are some really good, ethical, honest Sisterlocks consultants out there. We need to spotlight them more. Like, they need to be shouted out. There needs to be some kind of directory of where to find these people. Like a place where you can give kudos to your loctician, your Sisterlocks loctician, or any loctician, but especially Sisterlocks. Like, I want to give kudos to so-and-so because she does an amazing job and she really takes good care of my hair, yada, yada, yada. Like, shout them out. There needs to be a directory for every city and state. Or just loctician as a whole. Not just Sisterlocks. Any loctician, honey. Because it's the scammers, they are, man, they're out there. And if you decide to go with somebody who's not certified, if you decide to go to somebody who took the class but never became certified, or if for whatever reason they didn't pass, or they didn't do or establish enough heads of hair to become certified, buyer beware. And I'm not saying they're not good. You be careful. That's all I can say. Be careful. I've heard way too many horror stories, y'all, of people being bamboozled, money stolen, hair jacked up because somebody got in their head, didn't know what they were doing, and did some crazy mess, charged them all this money, and messed up their hair. But yeah, it's time that more people speak about the downfalls of Sisterlocks. Because on the surface, yes, it's a beautiful style. It looks pretty. But going forward long term, you got to really think about that, because there will be issues down the line that you're going to be faced with. And okay, let's say you're 5, 6 years in and you don't see any thinning. You haven't lost any locks. Um, that doesn't mean it won't happen later. It does, Or let's say you have really thick hair and it's hard for you to see the thinning. That doesn't mean it's not there. It's there. Sometimes it just takes a while for it to show. And again, like I said in my other videos, I'm not saying this to scare people. I'm not saying this because I hate Sisterlocks. I don't hate it. It's just a lot about it that I didn't like. It didn't mesh for me. And I know there's a lot more people out there like me who felt the same way, who felt that the rules, the rigidness, the retightenings, and how they try to force you to stick to the retightening schedule is too much. There's too many red flags. And had I not been so, blind and eager to jump into the lock world, I wish I had taken more time to really investigate and talk to more people before I did Sisterlocks. But it is what it is. My journey still ended up turning out nice. I'm happy with my hair. But if I were to ever cut this all off, I would definitely go the traditional route. Yeah. I would do things differently. Hindsight is always 2020, but I feel like I'm doing my job informing others. Like, because people need to know. Y'all need to know what you're getting into. So if anybody ever asks me, hey, what do you think about Sisterlocks? I'm going to tell you the truth. Because you need to know the truth. I will tell you, I'm not going to talk you out of getting Sisterlocks, but I will tell you to explore all your options. All the other lock options, all the other different ways that you can start locks or get locks. Look at everything before you settle on Sisterlocks. Be informed. Do your research. Know what you're getting into. That would be my main message. So thank you for watching. Again, chime in, keep the comments coming, and let's keep this conversation going because we need to share. We need to talk about this more. Bye-bye.